All right, Kenman here. My continued search for cool, sharp things landed me on this box. What's in it? What company does it represent? Let's find out. Before we start, I'm not sponsored by anyone, and I purchase everything at retail price. I do these videos because I love discussing knives and sharing info and ideas with others. If you have any questions or thoughts, please feel free to comment below. Okay. Good bumps on this one. This is my second knife from this company. I'm excited. Let's find out what we got. All right, I got a light. This is for some other stuff. We don't need to look at that today, or if we want to look at it, someone comment below. Box on the floor. Anybody recognize this pattern from our most recent? This is the second knife I've purchased or been looking at from this company right here. Better material and craftsmanship. Trivisa. There it is. Okay, anyone have any guesses? Oh, the box. Which one did they get? What is it? Oof. I like they got this kind of black and gold, and then look, the inside is blue and gold. Nice packaging. I can appreciate. We'll look at the other Trivisa that I got recently. But let's get this one out, get started. Okay. Got a nice cloth. And a little info card with the product certificates. Trivisa. And here's your info. Thank you for choosing Trivisa knife. Warranty, do not abuse. Maintenance, sharpened by Whetstone. Yeah, good little info packet. They give you a nice little bag, little secondary cloth bag, which is cool. And there is the knife. Get the box out of the way, and we are here. There it is, and mini bag on the floor. Okay, well, I got a lighter, soft green micarta. Excellent. So this is the Trivisa Aries 04G. I really like the design, the style of this, the blade shape. I was excited. I saw this one and pretty much knew right away it was one I was going to want to check out. And let's talk about why. So the Trivisa Aries 04G. What are we looking at? We have a 14C28 blade, well, N, 14C28N blade steel with a black coated kind of stone or tumble finish, sheep's foot, worn, cliffy, gnarly looking blade shape, right? Got a micarta handle with a real light, soft, powdery green. We could maybe potentially do the dye project with that. What do we think? Bing! Check it out right there. Yeah. It's a button lock, huh? Okay, so flipper tab and let it close. Boom. Get used to the knife. Ooh, are we gonna? Maybe not. That's kind of okay. The detent. You see that? It's kind of a weird. It's like wheat, but you see it's tight right now. It's there, but maybe it needs to be stronger. It looks like it's definitely going to be one of the knife puppet theater contendants. That's a little disappointing in a way, but I mean, when it's completely closed, all right, let's see how weak this flipper tab detent is. I'm going to try to push it really, really soft. See, it's still, I'll do it upside down so it has to use that weight. It still flips all the way out. So it's like it's failing because it's got this, it's like weak, like this little area right in here where it kind of just sits like that, where it should be almost pulling it in, but it's not. See that? There it went. Very, very close to the end. So if you don't get that button lock closed quite right and it's sitting right there, well, now you don't have any detent leverage. So that's like, it almost could just be, it needs to pull it in a little bit sooner because it feels, like I said, it's tight. This weak push fires it all the way out. It's just this little area right here, how it just kind of sits. What's the swing like? Not bad. Oops. Maybe. Oop. Oh, look at where my finger was directly. I've noticed that when I'm holding it, normally I don't sit there like this, like I'm displaying it. My view on the camera is this direction. And so I'm kind of holding it sideways, and being a lefty, when I'm going to flick it like this, I can get that index finger. You can see how the button is it's a little bit lower, and then when it's open, kind of pops out just a little bit more. So if I'm holding it like this and kind of holding it at that level, I can have it do this. And so it's something as a lefty, you need to pay attention to that, you know, if the button is there. So it's when I go to do that flick, you got to be a little bit more, what's the word? See? Cautious of that. And in this case, that button is really, because the flipper or the fuller hole is small and it's up high, so I kind of have to be up here with my finger to do it, which then puts my index finger close to right on that button. Yeah. I'm not trying to do that. It's just trying to keep my index finger in a comfortable position, but it just, in this case, for me, it really is directly on that. I have to kind of maybe get up higher on it, and then my index finger is out of that way, but a little bit higher up on the button seems to work. Not always a great thing with a knife if you have to think about stuff a little bit more as far as just a nice workhorse everyday carry. The fact that when I close it, and if it sits like that, now I have no detent pressure, and then I have the issue of this button as a lefty. If I was a righty, maybe I can't flick it out at all. What is my problem? I don't know what my deal is. Yeah. I don't want to say I'm disappointed, but the initial feelings I'm getting, see that it's just, it doesn't quite, you have to learn every knife, and the button lock is a little different, so you got to kind of sit there and figure it out, and how much pressure, push that button to close it. If I just do this and it closes all the way, it's like you're getting too excited and you leave the button, you depress that button. I can just push the button and let it drop, and it works. If I hold that button and it starts bouncing, that's when I let go and it's in a bounced position. And that's where you're losing out. So I got to learn the knife, so I'm not going to totally dismiss my thoughts on it at the moment, that it's just a little bit, feels like just the button's kind of in the way for me as a lefty, but that's something. Okay, clip can be swapped. I am just rambling on here. Okay. Clip can be swapped to the other side for the lefties, so that is cool. I love the style and the look of this. The scales are nice. They've got a nice contour to them, so it has a nice curve, a really good feeling. It's a larger handle. I can spread out my hands pretty wide, and the handle goes all the way out there. It's got a nice length on it. There are some almost micro jumps. Focus on that. Tiny little row of jimps there. They don't go very far out. I think it'd be nice if they went out a little bit further. Ooh, I didn't notice the tip kind of rides up. But yeah, getting in here for nice long cuts like that. It's got a good feel. There's kind of a little, yeah, I wouldn't really call that a choke up spot. It's a little too close to just being able to cut yourself right there. If they made that a little bit bigger, that might be nice. Well, every time, huh? I'm really good at having my finger right where that button is. It just is lined up with my index for the flick out. You almost have to just not use that flick out, and only maybe use it as the thumb, which is a little kind of awkward because it's tight and it's small inside of there. Okay, what have I not talked about? I talked about those jimps, talked about that detent being, so it's got a little bit of pull, and it's just, if it's sideways, I can just push it, and like I see it just sits and doesn't want to pull until that last minute. It's definitely going to be in the knife theater. As you can see, I can talk with it quite easily. And catching that button almost every time. Wow. Okay, let's do some measurements. God, it just is such a cool looking knife. I really like the design and the shape of the blade. Overall length is about 8 inches right on the money. Blade is 3.5 about to the center of that where it meets the scales. Cutting surface is right about 3.5 as well, with just a slight curve on the belly. Handle is 4 3/8, and without the pocket clip, we are a solid 1/2 inch at the apex of the curvature of the scales. Nice size. It's pretty much, I'd say this is a full-size knife. It feels good in the hand like this. I like it. I have a larger hand. I feel like I've got good control over it, minus me catching that button. All right. We have the pyrites. I compare everything with the old pyrites. And if we want, I could... Wait, let's zoom in a little bit here. The new pyrite rose gold buoy. Gorgeous. Gorgeous knife. The pyrite is great. There's so many different variants and options. Really cool if you're looking for a nice button lock knife. So the pyrite is also a button lock, and I can sit here and do this all day and not catch that index the way it sits. It's just the design of it. My hand sits more like here, so it's not really sitting on that button. And the button doesn't stick out much because it's in this recessed area. So it starts off lower than the scales, keeping it out of the way, versus this one, no recessed area, so the button is just up and exposed and doesn't really have any tucked in kind of hidden qualities. It kind of makes it much easier to tag it the way I'm doing it. All right. So yeah, it's just a little bit longer on the handle and the blade than the pyrite, so it's definitely considered more of a full-size knife. The first Trivisa I got was this little guy right here. It is the Andromeda 03. Really fun little tiny little mini. Now I've been getting a lot of those mini knives. I'll be having my mini knife shootout coming pretty soon. Yeah, okay, so it is definitely, it's a small knife, so it's got it beat by quite a bit. How are we doing today? You guys like what you see? Hit the like button. Subscribe if you'd like to see more. It helps me out. Yeah, Trivisa Aries. Another button lock I could put it next to, maybe the Kaiser Dogfish. So this one here. Same kind of thing with that button lock. I can flick it out and not really ever have an issue of catching it. This one is not recessed, but it's the way they've got it kind of tucked more that way. It's kind of pushed over. It's not right in that same spot. So when I'm going to do this flick out, look at where my finger is. It's not even on it, so it's not a concern. I've got the Civivi Altus. Same kind of thing. You go to flick it out, you can see where my finger sits, not where the button is. And it's got that recessed little area. So I think those are things that you want to consider. Got another one. They pretty much all have these recessed sections where the button is. So that is the one thing where they've got this nice curved, look at how much that button sticks out. If they were to have gone in and carved that and pushed it down just a little bit, I think that would have really made this a win. Because it's such a cool design and shape. I dig the knife. I'm going to mess with it some more. I'm going to see, but initially here, the unboxing, you noticed my finger just landed on that button almost every single time. Let's get a weight. I keep forgetting to do a weight. Get that code so we can see. 3.73, so it's almost the same as the Pyrite's, like 3.67. So very similar in weight to the Pyrite, but it is a little bit longer. So it's got a good weight for it for this size. There's that. See, it like doesn't close all the way, and now you've lost your D10. Yeah, Trivisa, new company, been testing out, and here we are. I don't want to say bad things about it yet, but I've unboxed some Kaisers that didn't do that at all, ever. Closed perfectly, open perfectly. So these are things to consider, you know, when you're spending, there's like a $60 knife. I can get one that's a little cheaper from Kaiser or CJRB, and I instantly enjoyed it better right out of the box. We're going to test it out. We're going to see. I don't know, you know. Stuff, it gets crazy in here. More unboxings and dyings. I got lives on Thursday nights at 6 p.m. It's cool. But yeah, I like this button lock. It does feel good other than catching the button. But if you do like button locks, maybe you should check out this video right there on the Pyrite. CJRB crushes it. Stay sharp. We'll see you soon.